with your host, the fifth general, Zaccheus and Cinemascapes. What's up, y'all?
What's good? Yeah, man.
All right, so it's been a minute since we've been up on here. So, all right, let's start like this. So, now we've had recently, 2 episodes ago, we talked about Black Panther and how well it's doing. So, it recently passed Titanic on the all-time grossing movies list. Box office. Wow. Yeah, over the weekend it did. So, this just reaffirms that the support for this movie is undeniable. And going forward, Chadwick Boseman should demand more money. He should demand more money going forward, because his value, I know the movie's not just about him. I get it. It's a collective, but he was the lead. Okay. Him and Michael B. Jordan were the 2 leading roles. So both of them really going forward in their careers going forward should demand more money. You know what I'm saying? Just based off their resume prior to this, because they both have a body of work, both of them. And both of them are on a good momentum. So I would say going forward, Chadwick definitely needs to demand more money. Him and Michael B. Jordan. I would like to see these brothers do another movie together. I would like to see what happens. That'd be interesting, going forward. If some type of thing could spark from that. All right, so Zaccheus, I'm gonna have you go first. What you think about this?
You know what? I'm surprised that this movie is a great movie, but I'm surprised it went that far because I went to the box office. I went to the movies with my son to see Grimm, and
you want to go see what?
Grimm. Yeah, it's a movie. It looks similar. It had part 1 already. They came up with Idris Elba, but this part 2 of them. This is part 2 of Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim. Okay, the audio was cutting out.
Okay. Yeah. So, and I still see Black Panther paying that last week. This was only what? No, this was last.
No, Black Panther's still in the theaters.
Last Thursday, and it's still playing in the theater. And I'm saying to myself, people are still going to see it.
Yeah.
That go to tell you that this movie had a great impact. And I'm not. In a way, I'm kind of like, wow, we're past the Titanic, because I remember when Titanic came out, how big that was. You know, real big.
That was what 90 early 90s when that movie came out.
Yeah, mid 90s, I think. Yeah,
like 95, maybe 94, 95. I don't know. Go ahead.
I remember when that first came out. So for that to pass, so for Black Panther to pass that, it's a phenomenon, man. It just keeps going and going, which is good. They're going to tell you that if you put your work, if you believe in a project and you put it together and you said, okay, I believe in this project because we needed a black, identify with a black hero. We needed a black hero, and we needed somebody to identify with as far as like for our young kids and children coming up in this generation and this time in the millenniums. So when Black Panther, which is an old comic that came out years ago, when they came out in the theaters, this kind of we have heroes, and we do have symbols of black heroes and everything, in which Black Panther symbolizes, So I'm really glad that movie did so well, really glad, happy for that.
I would say, and I'm gonna give this a cinema next. I would say Hollywood is kind of trying to figure this out, because they're probably like, wow, okay, the movie did well, and it's Hollywood, so they can eat off of that money. But this is the first time a movie with black people did this well without any stereotypes. That's what they're trying to figure out. How does a movie that don't have any fried chicken or pimps, hoes, whores, prostitutes, pimps, and players do this well? Well, because black people are tired of being depicted as eating fried chicken and watermelon and pimps and players, prostitutes, whores, and all that stuff. That's why. Crackheads and thugs, rapists. That's why. I think that's why the movie got supported that well. Yes, it's a Marvel Comics movie. It's backed by Disney's money. Yes, so it had the exposure that any other movie wouldn't have had. It definitely had more exposure than Birth of a Nation and that Turner movie. I will say that. But it was a movie where, yes, it was imaginary, because we know how Africa is. It's been colonized.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
So this is basically, it was a fantasy, a utopia, I guess, of wow. Imagine if Africa, or at least parts of Africa, collectively didn't get colonized. This is what it would be. That's basically kind of what that movie was about. And people, not just black people, but everybody saw the movie just based off it being a good movie and having action. But Hollywood's trying to figure this out. How does this movie do so well without these stereotypes we always shove down people's throats? So, Cinema, what you think about this situation? Because it's a curious case,
It's not curious. It's something we've been asking for since exploitation movies in the 70s. I ain't afraid to say my age, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We've had exploitation, and then we wanted, even then, our heroes were from like the hood, and the hood was so messed up that it wasn't fixing, that everything was corrupt and broken in it. And that was in those movies. I'm gonna say things, and I know he's on trial, but Bill Cosby with the Cosby Show broke the stigma of the black stereotype with his show.
Yeah, speak on it. Go more into that.
Because I'm gonna go into that, and even Black Lightning a little bit.
Yeah,
and the success it's having.
Yes,
it's like, as a black young kid, I don't remember seeing anyone that looked like me that was a hero.
Yeah.
And like I said something in private who my first crush was. It wasn't a black person, because I didn't see, until Janet Jackson was Penny on Good Times.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kim Fields, Facts of Life. Yeah. Okay. Then I start to see people. But, Good Times, was a project one. And Kim Fields wasn't in a normal situation. She was at a private school in her school, just talking about how those shows were, us growing up. Different Strokes, what you talking about, Willis, it was a fantasy. They got taken in by their employers, by their mother's employer when she died. So these weren't real situations of us seeing ourselves as something positive, it was us being helped.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and that's how the shows were, or we were the sidekick, like Bill Cosby was on I Spy.
Ask you guys a question. What do you think about? Remember Shaft back in the days? I'm not talking about Samuel Jackson. I'm talking about Richard Roundtree.
Whoa.
Yeah, but that's still the black exploitation.
I wasn't
era.
born yet, so
That's still black exploitation era, where you have a hero, but the hero's all up in a corrupt environment.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, because that black exploitation era.
But Shaft was a positive hero. I love Shaft. That's my movie. Me and my dad talk about that.
Except for him being a womanizer.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
like 1971. That was before us, Shamik. That was before us.
Yeah, but my parents, my brother, my sister, we know Shaft. He's one bad mother. Shut your mouth.
I'm just talking about Shaft. The only problem with Shaft is that he was still, all right, the stereotype of him being a player and a Mac was still there.
Right. It was still there. There's always some negative connotation on the character of the hero.
Yep.
And the flaw gets magnified, even though he's the hero.
Exactly.
And that was the difference between black exploitation films and what we've seen in Black Panther. T'Challa was just ignorant of something.
Right.
But he wasn't corrupt. The corruption he had to deal with came before him.
Mm-hmm.
But he had a good heart.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Even at the end, even after all Killmonger did, you know.
Yeah. He had a very mild understanding of things, and he confronted it. So the movie was basically showing that he agrees with Killmonger to a certain degree, but he just has a different method than that of a Killmonger.
Right. He goes a different ways, but he saw his view.
He saw his view.
But
remember what Chadwick said though. He says that he feels that Killmonger was actually the hero and that T'Challa was actually the villain. Just according to what his perception. Okay. Remember we talked about that.
We talked about that. Yeah. So even with that said,
yeah. Have you been noticing that with the new Avengers trailers that the trailers have been altered and adjusted to actually show more of Black Panther to feed off of that success, which is smart by Marvel and Disney.
Yeah.
So now people.
I was gonna get to that too.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you go ahead.
With that, remember Static Shock, right?
Yep.
Very good. Had a very positive thing. We've seen echoes of this, but we haven't seen them once. We haven't seen anybody invest in a movie that big until you had, because no one had a universe set up to where this universe has so much influence, we can take a chance like this.
Yeah.
You know, you had Static Shock, you had stuff, you know, shout out to Robert Townsend and them, Meteor Man.
Yeah.
Damon and them with Blank Man.
Yep.
Wesley with the Blade.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Blade, the first Blade is one of my all-time, you know.
Blade, think about it. Blade started all of this when you think about it.
And Spawn.
Yeah, Blade and Spawn.
Exactly.
One Wesley Snipes, the other one Michael Jai White. Two brothers.
But the first positive, we're talking positive.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But each one of them still had their weakness. Blade was a vampire.
Yeah, he was a vampire. Spawn was a hell. Yeah.
You still had, but still, I'm not even dissing that. That was progress.
Right.
Because the whole thing, Spawn was despite his state.
Right.
I'm still gonna do this.
Right. You're right.
And the dude was messing with it. But then you get Robert Townsend. He gets the money to make stuff. So he makes Hollywood Shuffle, Media Man, some things that make us aware. Media Man's a classic.
Well,
classic. I laughed at Black Man. That's what I laughed at.
I wish he would do a modern day Media Man with today's special effects.
Right. Or make a sequel with his kid,
his son. Something.
Or a new idea.
Yeah.
Blank Man was hilarious
because basically Hancock with Will Smith was like Media Man, but the only difference was Hancock wasn't a hero.
Exactly.
He was a drunk. He was depressed. He had a hard life. So then he turned around. I mean, for you guys y'all seen Hancock, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I thought Hancock was actually the movie surprised me because there was some things in that movie I didn't expect, and I thought it was a decent movie. But he was negative as well. Cinema. I get what you're saying. You're saying that we've had movies maybe in a similar vein. The only problem is there was always that one or two things that stuck out that basically took over what the movie could have been. Right. And you didn't get that with Black Panther. And Black Panther happens to surpass financially all of these movies
combined.
And so this is why And so this is why you see with Disney, and I want you to talk more about Black Lightning in a second. With Disney capitalizing off the success, which a business should. And they're saying for now, because the most recent trailer of Avengers is a whole bunch of Black Panther
clips.
and Wakanda clips more than ever. I'm like, well, dang. I said they're gonna mess around and show all the Wakanda clips, you know. but I noticed that they're showing T'Challa's character is actually being a lead in this movie, the main lead. I think he's a lead team.
Well, he finances Secret Avengers. We know that.
We know according to the comic book how important we is. We know that there should have been a Black Panther movie before Blade, if you want to get technical.
Right.
We know that. We know that in the comic world. In the movie world, they don't know that.
Exactly.
But what they're trying to do in the movie world is say this. Hey, this character is so important, and it took this movie for us to know that. But going forward, we're going to build the future of the MCU off of him. It's looking like that.
Well, that's how it ended up after, Tony and Cap ended up staying cool, but Secret Avengers is funded by T'Challa.
Mm-hmm.
And, Cap's always leaving Avengers because he can't trust Tony because Tony's over emotional. And they played that back because people like RDJ. And I know that. But, somebody came at me, why do you hate Tony? Because in Civil War, he sent a criminal to kill Spidey, and Spidey almost died. I hate Tony in the comic.
You know what's funny?
And then Tony is more of a drunk in the comic. He's not the RDJ character.
Right.
And so when I see the RDJ character, like in the Civil War, what people don't realize is Tony's backstory. That's Tony. Tony will go and have a tantrum and fight over a tantrum and destroy everything.
Yeah.
Just because of his ego.
Yeah.
And that's Tony Stark. He thinks he's the brightest mind. But the whole thing is Spidey hacks his suit in Civil War in the comic, for those who don't know. So, everybody's flawed. The whole thing was you saw T'Challa's flaws and he overcame them. But there wasn't a bad character in there to where ego or anything plays a part into that. And then, and so that's always been T'Challa's character. He's had pride because he's never seen the outside world. Once T'Challa learns of the outside world and Killmonger, which is T'Challa's learning, even in the comic, the Killmonger brings T'Challa to a place where he, his character's developed. In the MCU, they developed him way faster than the comic, of course. But, T'Challa is really important going forward.
Yeah.
Especially since a lot of people don't mess with Tony. I mess with you, but I don't mess with your boy. There's other terminology that's a little more crude, but you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So basically, the fact that Hollywood's been telling us we want to see stereotypes, and then this movie comes out and it shocks. Because we've been saying we wanted to see something like this. And
centuries.
And we came out and supported it.
Now
only did us, the world came out and supported it globally.
Moving to Black Lightning, because I don't want you to lose your point about Black Lightning's success.
Black Lightning, the time couldn't have been better for Black Lightning.
Yep.
See, Black Lightning is even better to me because you're dealing with somebody who's really dealing with police corruption and stuff and got powers.
Mm-hmm.
And chooses not to kill, even though he struggles with it, but he chooses to do the right thing.
And has a heart for his community.
Chooses to make an impact for even the episode where he was set up.
He's a real hero.
Yeah, a real hero. Like, you haven't seen that. See, DC and Marvel has that on pages. What we wanted to see, like, now you're probably going to get a Static Shock movie because not only did Marvel, a lot of people, look at the time in a Get Out, a horror movie for us.
What do y'all think about Luke Cage?
Luke Cage was under the old, when it was being produced.
That's blaxploitation era.
Yeah, that's the blaxploitation era. But he came out in the 70s.
Yeah,
he had a chain, the slacks. Remember, that character was there, even though Stan had it, but Stan was fighting to make Black Panther work time after time, even bringing him back.
Luke is strong, but Luke is a player too. So there's that other.
So yeah,
there's that other stereotype we're talking about. That black men, the stereotype that black men are just bucks, and then we just like to have sex all the time.
Right, and he smashed. He smashed Jessica and that chick.
Right, well, on the comics, there's a lot of women he knocked down in the comics, but I get your point. Your point, Zaccheus, is we have these people, and it's at a good time. I would say that a better role model is Black Lightning.
Yeah,
that's all. If I was to pick, if I was to pick out of the three, T'Challa, Black Lightning, and Luke Cage, I would say out of the three on movie and television right now, to actually see as a role model would be Black Lightning, because Black Lightning is an activist in his heart. He has a heart for his community, but he's a hero, and that's his way of activism because he's against police brutality. He's against drugs and crime in inner cities, and he's a principal. So he cares for kids. He cares for his family. I mean, if anything, he's a very positive role model right now on TV, and that show is one of CW's highest rated shows right now. It might be the highest rated because I think it passed Flash.
Right.
So it comes on CW, Channel 11? So CW in New York City?
Yeah.
Well, CW everywhere, not just New York.
Yeah.
So it comes on CW Network, what? 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Yeah. But go ahead, Cinema. You have something to say?
And so that show, I think, like you were saying, that was the best out of all of them.
Right.
Because he, the way he chooses to face the adversity the right way. This last episode was real. He's going.
I missed it. Man, I missed it.
They made him. He got arrested, and they couldn't really do nothing, so they had to just prove. They had some things happen. I don't want to spoil it for you.
I saw. Okay, I saw.
I'll just tell you, they had him strip, cough.
Oh wait, I saw that. I saw that.
So
yeah,
the humiliation because he was set up.
What days it come off? What days it come on?
It comes on Tuesdays, and so
Tuesdays,
and you can catch up on the CW's website and stream the earlier episodes.
Yeah,
catch up on it because the last two. This is the next to last episode for the season. In the promo for tomorrow.
I know what it is that I missed. I missed last week's Unsolved Biggie and Pac. That's the one I missed. But I did see Black Lightning though.
Okay.
It's good.
Yeah, that one was good too. It's getting crazy there. But the whole thing is the positive imagery of him going through everything we go through as a people. Still doing the right thing. Because, he was set up. And he was about to get railroaded. And then even the cop couldn't do nothing because they said the feds will come in. And they're like, is there something you want to tell me? And he's,
I have an interesting thing that just came to my mind, an interesting thought. You mentioned Bill Cosby, right?
Right.
Is it just me, or is Black Lightning basically Bill Cosby's vision of a superhero?
Right.
Think about it.
Right.
If because Bill Cosby, this sounds like something that Bill Cosby would write.
Right, because if you watch the Fat Albert and all that stuff and all that, yeah, because he wanted to do that. Bill Cosby's on trial because the guy in Pennsylvania, I live in Delaware. And so the district attorney said if he gets in, he was going to try Bill Cosby. He's trying him again right now for whatever reason.
Yeah, they're reopening his case.
There's a corrupt juror now that they have one guy in the jury might have had his mind made up. So that's what they were dealing with today as we're recording. this will be. So we recorded this the Monday before the Friday it was posted, and so you have that going on. That's something he had been trying to do. He's been trying to buy a network to put this programming on, and I can't vouch for the man. I don't know what the man did or didn't do, but I know he ain't the only one.
Yeah, because all right, let's put it like this. I know what kind of we'll get to that later once more things pick up. As far as what I mean by Bill Cosby's vision is, his involvement in Media Man was because Media Man was positive. I don't think he would have been in that movie. And Media Man is basically what Black Lightning is. Because Media Man was that.
He wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I mention something about Bill Cosby?
Good.
And when he does a program, even when he did Fat Albert, when he did Cosby Show, his mission was to put positive role models and a positive image to the Black people, because this is someone who worked in the entertainment industry. This is somebody who was trying to buy a network before all of this came down on him. But his focus has always been positive. That's like Stevie Wonder. You can't sample him unless your song's positive.
Yeah, that's true.
He
can't cuss on them either.
And these guys, they're from that era. That's that Stevie and all that stuff, where they want positive things in the community, and they're gonna, that's why Stevie says I make positive love songs. Stevie's always talked about issues. Most people haven't listened to the deep cuts on his album. Like people, why is Stevie so political? I'm like, really? You really haven't listened to anything but hits. There's a lot Stevie's dealt with in his music. Yeah. But it's always to bring a positive light on it or to expose something. And that, those guys, I think we're having a renaissance of that. But, no one was ready for it. With the director Ryan, what he's been making with Creed, Ryan Coogler with Creed, all his films have a positive outlook like that. Like when they're filming Creed 2 in the area now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, Creed 2, yeah.
Yeah, and so, it's the way he sees things, the symbolism that he sees in these movies. There's a renaissance of that. Those seeds had to be sown. And even though there wasn't a lot, we're getting a lot more this generation than we did before. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Common.
Yes.
One of the, we talked about 444, but the most overlooked album was Common's Black
America again. Yeah.
And to me, that album has inspired me creatively to look at how I'm creatively doing things and going forward, because what your kids see, if you can see it, you can achieve it. I think Obama getting in there kind of opened these doors, because you've seen a Black man as president, whether despite people's opinions.
Right.
We won't even get into that.
Exactly. Oh, he has a lot of opinions.
And so something Stevie said that was powerful about seeing things. And he's like, these kids seeing you is a game changer.
That's
because to envision something is one thing when you've never seen it. But when you've seen it and you can envision I can go higher than that gives power.
Yeah, we're gonna have to close up soon. I'm gonna get real random for a second.
No problem.
Anybody see any movies this past week they want to talk about? We don't usually do stuff like this, but anybody see anything in these last 2 weeks? Zaccheus, what'd you see?
Seen Pacific Rim.
Okay, Pacific Rim Uprising. What'd you think of that?
It was a good, great action-packed movie. The brother that played in the film, I'm gonna get his name.
John Boyega.
John Boyega. Yeah.
Yeah, he took. Because the first one was with
Idris and Charlie Hunnam.
So this one was something to see, and he actually played a lead role, like a captain role. In this movie, he took like after his father. His father was the last generation, so he's like the new generation. And
so are they saying that Idris's character was his father?
Yeah. Yes. They might have a second one. They might have a third one coming up. But
hold on, Zaccheus. Are they saying, because I never seen the movie, are they saying that John Boyega's character is Idris's son character from the first one?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. I just want to make sure that's clear.
Oh yeah. So this movie was very it's very action packed, and it's definitely Jurassic Park soon coming.
Okay, we didn't hear you for a second. Cinema, you seen anything recently?
Nah, I was supposed to, and then emergency came up with a friend, so we took care of that.
Okay. I saw Saturday A Quiet Place.
Ooh.
That movie was surprisingly good.
I want to see that.
Yeah. The acting for a movie where you don't have to talk much, because the overall premise of the movie is there's these creatures in this post-apocalyptic time. They basically invaded the earth and killed off, I don't know how much of the population, because it doesn't state it. But what it is that you have the remaining survivors who are surviving. This movie showed one particular family that survived, and they learned how to survive by this. The creatures go by hearing. They don't go by sight, so they go by hearing. So if you're quiet, you live. So that's basically how they have to live. That's what it's titled. Interesting movie, but let me get to my point. For a movie where you can't really talk much. There was a lot of subtitles because there's sign language. There's sign language because their daughter is deaf. So basically, that's what saved them. If they didn't know how to speak sign language, they probably wouldn't really know how to survive. So that was that family's advantage to survival, you know. Nice. But it was a good movie, and for a movie where you can't do a lot of talking, the acting was good. The movie was written very well, and it was a good thriller. I wouldn't say so much of it being a horror flick, but it's more of a suspense thriller with a taste of horror. You know, not horror on the level of Poltergeist or Exorcist. It ain't that kind of horror, but thriller. You know. Yeah,
and you know that dude from The Office wrote that. Right?
He wrote it. He directed it. He co-produced. John Kronowski, his wife in real life is Emily Blunt, who's in the movie. You know. Yeah. And she can act. And she can act.
You know, between him and Jordan Peele, because that looked good too. And I'm like, I want to see what these actors who I like, you know, have ideas for films. Because that kind of looked like it had the vibe of Get Out to me, but in his way. You know what he envisioned?
Yeah, I would
like in a thriller sense. Get Out was a thriller too, even though it's horror genre, but it's like the thriller is like a really good written thriller to where you don't know what's gonna happen till it unfolds.
I'm gonna tell you what makes this movie special, and then we're gonna get up out of here. What made the movie special is it had a lot of situational changes. It foreshadowed what could happen and how they could get out of a situation, but it threw curveballs. So you thought it was predictable, because a lot of horror and thriller movies, for the most part, are predictable because they foreshadow too much. Right. They foreshadowed, but then they also had theories. There was a lot of what ifs. So you're watching this and you're like, oh, okay, they prepared for that. And all of a sudden, bam, oh, whoa, they didn't prepare for this. How are they going to get out of this situation? Right. That happened a lot in this movie. That's why the movie was very well written, because not so much as far as script writing, because there's not a lot of talking, But in terms of scenes and situations, that was written very well because I'm sitting there watching this movie thinking, oh man, how they go? Really? How they gonna get out of this? You know, I thought the movie was better than what I thought it would be. You know, I saw the movie basically because it was my birthday and I wanted to do something. Really,
Right,
you know,
right.
so that's why I had saw the movie. You know, so I went to see with my fam, and I'm watching the movie and I liked it. I liked the movie. I was expecting to just like it a little bit, but I like the movie. The movie has replay value. That's good. When a movie has replay value, you did your job.
But also the movie Acrimony. That's what I seen too.
Oh, what you? Okay, so talk about that a little bit. Yeah, because
definitely.
Drama was ridiculous. Taraji P. Henson was it's a thriller. It's also a love drama too. But you know, you take your lady. I took my wife. You know, it was good. It was a good drama, but also was a thriller too. You know, deals with like I should have had this. She, you know, we came up together poor. We came up, her and her the guy that she was, husband came up together poor. Before they got married, they were poor, coming up together in college, struggling it out. Then all of a sudden now, you know, now all of a sudden now he's not making it. He has this idea to make this machine that can make him some money. But actually, when the machine don't make him money, the wife kind of gave up on him at the end. Because when a man is focused on just one goal and he has one dream, and the wife is not believing you because you're not making no money off of it. You know, you're not making no money off of it. So she's like, okay, get a job.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden now, you know, she gave up on him. She said, I want a divorce. Gave up on him now. He meets somebody new, and all of a sudden now. And his machine takes off, it blows up. Bing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tyler's not right.
That's a very different Tyler Perry movie.
Exactly.
I gotta go see that.
So wait a minute. So they have the divorce. Then he becomes successful.
But all of a sudden now she wants him back. But that's to make a long story short.
That's what the movie's about.
Yeah.
I thought the movie was about them being married and then he pulled a Fatal Attraction type of stuff. And then that's why she's after him.
You gotta
Tyler twisted you,
my brother.
See, somebody told me this movie was stir-fried trash. It don't sound like stir-fried trash from what I'm hearing.
Nah, it's not stir-fried. It's definitely a thriller to go see, man. It's for real. It's serious, man.
Wow.
Yeah, for real. It's good, man. So that sums up that film, man. It's just really, and then she gets evil at the end of it. She gets like, she becomes Fatal Attraction herself. She's like, no, that's mine. That should have been mine, you know. And got everything I wanted.
You know, this movie was filmed in 8 days. That movie was filmed in 8 days because she was doing Empire.
Oh, yeah, I missed that episode. Okay, yeah.
No, but I'm saying she was doing Empire while they were filming. Because when she was off, she was doing Proud Mary and the other stuff. You know, the other movies she was doing.
Right. Proud Mary wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
hey,
it was a bigger budget film. But then you do something with Tyler, 8 days, but it's quality.
All right, so we're gonna get up out of here. Zaccheus, tell people where they can reach you.
You can reach me on Instagram, Zaccheus B73 or Wayne Backus. You can also hit me up on Twitter. It's Wayne Backus 2 on Twitter, and on Facebook, Wayne Zaccheus Backus. Me up right there.
All right, Zaccheus, if you gotta go, we'll get with you later. All right.
Cinema, Pizza Fifth.
Peace. All right, Cinema, where can they reach you?
You can look up my page, Cinemascapes, on Facebook, Cinemascapes on Twitter, and Cinemascapes on IG.
Good. All right, so you can get at me at The Fifth General, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at The Fifth General, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. All right, so we had a short episode, but it's all right.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go ahead, Cinema. Go ahead.
Our condolences to Peace 586 on the loss of his wife.
Oh, yeah.
Prayers for you and your family.
Yes, prayers.
Love for you,
yes.
man. Yeah, because we weren't, we didn't record the week it happened.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure,
Definitely.
We definitely got love for you. One of the most influential producers in my life.
Yes. For those who don't know, in the Christian hip hop community, very important pioneer, legend actually. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna get up out of here. Signing off, the 5th General, Zaccheus Cinemascapes. We'll see y'all next time. All right.
All right. Peace.